I'm a cave explorer, and I just found something strange. The first thing you learn as a cave explorer is this: caves are indifferent. They don't care if you're strong, smart, or careful. They'll swallow you whole if you make a mistake. I've been doing this for nearly a decade, and I've seen my fair share of breathtaking beauty and bone-chilling danger. I've crawled through tight spaces that could suffocate you with a single shift of rock, repelled into dark abysses where your own breath feels like an unwelcome intruder, and discovered underground rivers that flowed like veins of the earth. But this is something I wasn't prepared for. It started with a tip from a friend, another explorer who claimed to have stumbled upon an uncharted cave system deep in the Appalachians. He said it wasn't on any map, that it was untouched. That word alone was enough to lure me in. I gathered my gear, double-checked my ropes, harnesses, and lights, and drove out to the location he described: a dense forest with no trails, no markers, just miles of untamed wilderness. The cave entrance was hidden behind a cluster of boulders, almost invisible unless you knew exactly where to look. It was a narrow fissure, just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. I felt that familiar thrill as I ducked inside. The air was cool and damp, carrying the faint metallic scent of minerals. My headlamp illuminated jagged walls and glittering veins of quartz as I descended deeper. The first few hours were uneventful. The passages twisted and turned, narrowing in places and opening into small chambers filled with stalactites and stalagmites. I marked my path with chalk, careful to leave a trail in case I needed to backtrack. But then, at around 200 feet down, I noticed something odd. The walls of the cave began to change. The rough, natural stone gave way to something smoother, almost polished. At first, I thought it was a natural phenomenon, some kind of geological anomaly. But as I examined it more closely, I realized the walls weren't just smooth, they were engraved. The carvings were intricate, impossibly detailed patterns that seemed to pulse in the light of my headlamp. They didn't resemble any cave art I'd ever seen. No animals, no stick figures, no handprints, just swirling, alien shapes that seemed to move when you looked at them too long. I should have turned back. Instead, I pressed on, driven by equal parts curiosity and unease. The passage narrowed again, forcing me to crawl on my stomach. My heart pounded as the space around me grew tighter. Every sound, my breath, the scrape of my boots, the clink of my gear, seemed amplified in the oppressive silence. After what felt like an eternity, the passage opened into a massive chamber. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen. The walls glowed faintly, casting the room in an eerie, greenish light. In the center of the chamber stood a structure, a massive, circular platform made of a dark, glassy material. And on the platform, something was moving. At first, I thought it was an optical illusion, a trick of the strange light. But as I approached, I saw it clearly, a shape, humanoid but wrong. Its limbs were too long, its proportions distorted. It was crouched over something on the platform, its back to me. I froze, my instincts screaming at me to retreat. But I couldn't tear my eyes away. The thing moved with a fluidity that was almost hypnotic, its limbs bending in ways that defied anatomy. Then it stopped. Slowly, it turned its head to look at me. Its face, or what passed for a face, was featureless, smooth and pale, like porcelain. But its eyes were holes, black voids that seemed to swallow the light. For a moment, we just stared at each other. And then it spoke. The sound wasn't a voice, not in the way we understand voices. It was a vibration, a low hum that resonated in my chest and made my teeth ache. "You do not belong here." The words weren't English, but I understood them all the same. Before I could react, the thing moved, faster than anything I'd ever seen. One moment it was on the platform. The next, it was standing directly in front of me. I stumbled back, my heart hammering in my chest. "Leave," it said again. This time, the hum was sharper, more forceful. I didn't need to be told a third time. I turned and ran, retracing my path as fast as I could. The narrow passages that had felt thrilling on the way down now felt suffocating, like the cave itself was trying to trap me. I could hear something behind me, footsteps that didn't sound human, a scraping noise that echoed through the tunnels. When I finally emerged into the forest, gasping for air, the sunlight felt unreal, too bright and warm after the cold, alien world below. But the sense of relief was short-lived. That night, I dreamed of the chamber, the platform, the creature, and the carvings. They were everywhere in my dreams, spiraling and twisting, filling my mind with shapes and patterns I couldn't understand. When I woke up, my body ached, and my hands were covered in fine, black dust, the same dust that had coated the walls of the chamber. I haven't gone back to the cave. I don't think I ever will. But something is different now. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I can still hear the hum. And I have a terrible feeling that whatever I found down there, it's not done with me yet.